This is Isaiah Cassidy. I'm Mark Quinn, and we're Private Party.
And you're listening to the All Elite Podcast.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the All Elite Podcast, right here on the No Holds Barred Network, your source for everything and all podcasts, everything. I'm your host, as always, the self-proclaimed greatest host, and a little groggy today, Kyle Masters. I'm always joined by my co-host. She is the executive vice president of Giggles, the Heartbreak Chick, and the Indie Queen, Tiffany. What's going on, Tiff?
Oh, it's going to be a botchy day, isn't it?
Oh, man, yeah, I literally woke up maybe half hour ago, totally forgot we were podcasting today, and just I think I got my beautiful morning coffee, sponsored by Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons.
Oh.
Start your day off right
Oh,
with a nice
God.
cup of coffee.
I need some
Trying to get
coffee.
some sponsorship here, Kay.
But I'm not Canadian.
Trying to get a Canadian sponsorship.
But I'm not Canadian.
Well, then they'll send you some care packages, maybe along with mine.
Who the hell cares? What the hell?
Wow, I'm just saying,
we're
our
back
Tim Hortons
way.
coffee tastes a lot better. Just, and I can actually prove that because when I visited Tiff, I made sure I went to a Tim Hortons to see the difference, and oh yeah, there's a difference.
Yeah, there wasn't that good.
It was
Maybe because it was part of a gas station.
probably, I don't know. Just trying to get sponsorship. It's all.
All right.
End goal here. Guys, welcome to episode number 49, your AEW Dynamite review and recap right here on the podcast. Really awesome episode this week, live from Philadelphia. I'm excited about the dark matches with Taz being the guest commentator. I did see what the matches were. Fortunately, I saw the result for one of them. I didn't see it for the other two. But 3 interesting matches chosen for AEW Dark this week. I'm more excited for the one rather than the other two. So we'll see how that plays out this coming Tuesday. We have to wait till Tuesday. I'm still rocking the idea that it should be Saturday morning. You log on to YouTube, your bowl of cereal, your PJs, like your favorite Young Buck PJs. Maybe if you have those, and you slide on over to the couch, flip on the YouTube app, and just, you know what I mean? Like that's...
Young Bucks
Gives
onesie.
you that young kid feeling, just waking up Saturday morning for cartoons that you're flipping on AEW Dark and seeing Janela and Omega try to kill each other. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good Saturday morning right there.
Lord.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, God.
But today, guys, we're going to be reviewing this week's episode of Dynamite. Didn't pull any news and rumors out. Didn't really see a lot. I saw a couple and might pull up just to talk about near the end of the show. But we're mainly going to focus on this week's Dynamite episode with an interesting episode. I mean, we had some further storylines that were furthered. If that makes any sense. Going into next week in Britsburg. And we had some announced matches for next week as well. We have already 5 announced matches for next week. So it's crazy how... And it's not like they announce a match and you're like, oh, I don't really need to watch this. Every match they announce, it's like, oh, God, I can't wait to see this. And it means something. This is what we love about AEW.
Yeah.
Hashtag I'm with AEW.
Ooh.
I didn't know that was one of the hashtags until I saw someone else tweet it. I know when they first added the little AEW title emojis to all the AEW ones. And I'm like, okay, so there's AEW, All Elite Wrestling, AEW on TNT, AEW Dynamite. I didn't know that they added one to the I'm with AEW thing. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Well, that happened like a couple of weeks ago when they were saying I'm with AEW with the whole wars. So.
The wars, yeah.
What?
The wars aren't looking so good for NXT. That's all I'm going to say. I agree with the people that are huge NXT fans. As myself, before AEW was a thing, I was watching NXT religiously. And I've caught the last couple episodes, and it does not feel the same. Going to 2 hours, I think, is literally killing it. it was the 1 hour slot that made that brand what they are, and that was them, right? They're only going to 2 hours to compete with us.
Right. It was special. I think that's what it was. It just needed an hour to you build a bunch of storylines, and
that was just they have an excuse to put everyone on TV, and that's what ruins it. You don't have to have everybody on TV every week.
Right.
So.
And then that's what we're even getting with AEW. We're not getting.
Well, I mean, AEW, and I'm kind of contradicting it here because AEW is 2 hours, but AEW does the right formula for 2 hours, and NXT being in WWE, they don't. It's like when something goes to 2 hours, they just forget what to do.
Right.
It's just weird. They have the minds in NXT to make it better. I don't understand. I mean, it's still good. I'll give you the wrestling's still by far the best, and the storylines are still decent. It's just something's been taken out. I'm losing that little bit of love there, and I'm like, what's going on here? What's happening? What's happening to me?
I feel like our heart completely went into AEW, and then my heart kind of went.
I'm with AEW and Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons coffee in the morning.
And the Indies, the New York indie scene. You got and New Jersey indie scene because I've been going to Jersey a lot as well. But.
So we'll talk about last night. 2 nights ago. It was last night, yesterday, but 2 nights ago.
Did you like this episode better than the other two?
This was a good episode. I think it was jam-packed, this episode. I mean, I was there the first one, and obviously my reaction is going to be different than a lot of people that weren't there. Obviously, when you're there, it's like, oh, it's the best thing ever, right? So, I thought the first episode was awesome, and it delivered, and there's just more hype with the first episode. It's kind of hard to compare it to the first episode, so I'll compare it to last week's show, and it was definitely better than last week's show. Even though I was really hyped to see my boy Sean Spears. This week the matches were good. I had some critique, but I thought the matches were good, especially the tag team match with Omega and Hangman. I kind of think they gave us a lot for that, but I mean, when I say that, I mean they gave us a lot in terms of a Omega and Moxley giving us a lot before the pay-per-view, and I'm like, then I sit back and go, okay, if this is what we've gotten so far, I can only imagine what the pay-per-view match is going to be. So they're going to deliver this plus more. So I'm cool with that. I know a lot of fans aren't like, I know a lot of critiques, AEW critiques out there, and like, oh, well, they're giving away pay-per-view matches on TV. If WWE was doing this, everyone would be pissed. These people.
There's so many matches that we can have. That's the great thing with it being brand new. We have all these matches that we haven't seen that we're excited for. We get the slow builds.
And obviously there's a different dynamic in this match because we added Hangman and Pac, and we saw how much they got involved in between Omega and Moxley, and it happened. God, Pac, I don't know what he was thinking on that one thing. I don't know if he was just he was so into character that when he whipped the barbed wire bat, he split his finger wide open.
Barbed wire. I think somebody tweeted at me. They were like, "Just for the record, that was real." Like,
yeah, and he was, yeah, he didn't blade himself on purpose on his finger.
Yeah, no. Was for light tubes.
It was funny that he was still staying. He was staying hard in character while the camera was zoomed out, and all you could see was blood dripping from his finger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I couldn't look at Pac. I was looking at his finger, going, "Oh, look at that."
But I love it that we're actually getting a lot of wrestling, and I feel like whatever promos that we are getting, I mean, I put a tweet out that I get goosebumps. I've been saying this for even with the last pay-per-views that I get these goosebumps watching. So, but yeah, we're getting real wrestling, and I love that we're getting that New Japan feel with it. Yeah. With that, we're getting 20-minute matches, and we're actually seeing wrestling. I love it.
So, we are live from Philly this week. 5 huge matches booked for this week's show. Taz, I guess, like I said, Taz's return on AEW Dark. Cannot wait for that. So there's a lot of hype for this episode going into it. So we opened up with SCU versus the Best Friends. First round matchup in the tag team tournament for the World Tag Team Championships. SCU making their entrance. Something interesting happened while they were making their entrance, and that was Lucha Brothers coming out. I'm like, okay. They want to gather heat for their matchup against Jungle Express because that's just going to be a fan favorite type of match, and they wanted to gather some sort of heat, I'm guessing, to go into that match so that the Jungle Express would have most of the crowd reaction, right? So,
Right.
and then we know that they've had their beef with SCU, so that also makes sense. Like, there's continuity there. Like, SCU's been calling the Lucha Brothers out in the backstage promos. So,
I would love to see a continuation of this.
Yeah, I love this. So they killed SCU out on the ramp, especially Christopher Daniels, who takes a package pile driver right on the ramp, and it looked bad. Like, it looked nasty, and then they did the whole stretcher thing where the EMTs came out, put him on the stretcher, and the Bucks came out, and kind of like a locker room spell out to take like the elite to come out and make sure he's okay.
Made it more believable. That's pretty much with them coming out. Like,
Scorpio Sky did originally come for the save while they were getting attacked by the Lucha Brothers, so Christopher Daniels unable to compete. So Rick Knox was there, boy, and then Scorpio Sky was telling him, like, you're like, you know what, I got this. We're still gonna compete. We want to win. So, and he takes off his shirt and he's in his street clothes and his like soccer shoes. I don't know what kind of shoes those were.
I think they were tennis shoes. That's what they looked. Yeah, tennis shoes. Because they were chanting, I think, tennis shoes in the socks and tennis shoes or something. Oh God. In the crowd.
Yeah, so Scorpio Sky replaced him. We have a match. We have Kazarian, who's somewhat okay, with Scorpio Sky to face the team of the Best Friends, and the Best Friends even coming out going like, "What the hell just happened?" But they got a good reaction. I thought they had a really cool reaction. Other than that, it was a really good match. Lots of exciting spots everywhere. The Scorpio Sky shoe spot was hilarious, where it was at first. I think it was Chucky T. He took his shoe off and he threw it up the ramp, and then he started biting his toe, and then the crowd's like, "You sick fuck, you sick fuck." And then eventually they started chanting, "He's got one shoe." After he's doing all these crazy moves with one shoe. And then Scorpio Sky takes his other shoe off and whips it into the crowd. I think he meant to go whip it up the ramp, but he accidentally whipped it in the crowd. And then whoever was in the crowd whipped it back into the ring.
His face was so
he's like,
what? Like, he was so shocked. Like, that's what made it more entertaining. Like,
and then Rick Knox is like, "Nah, we're not having any more of this." He takes the shoe and he throws it out in the ring.
Yeah, they were saying he got no shoes. That they were chanting that he got no shoes.
So this was a fun, exciting match too. So eventually Kazarian hit the power bomb drop kick combo with Scorpio Sky, and SCU won out of this match. I thought for sure with Scorpio Sky getting the replacement that they would probably lose, but man, the ending looked weird to me. I don't know if it would look weird to you, because just look at Scorpio Sky's reaction. I'm like, okay, why is he like so off right now? Like, he was really hyped during the match and he was ready to go, and as soon as the match was over, he just looked like, I don't know if it was because he's worried about Christopher Daniels and that's what they're playing off of, or if that's not how the match was supposed to end, because it was very quick how the match ended. Yeah. But I don't know, it just, to me, it seemed a little weird, like he was a little off. I don't know what was going on there. I hope we'll get some continuity out of that. Now it's because he was just worried about Christopher Daniels. Like, after the match is done, he can focus now and say, like, man, I hope CD's all right. So I hope that's what that was for, because Kazarian looked really hyped that they won. He's like, "Yeah, man, yeah!" And then Scorpio's like, "Fuck, man, get out of here."
Yeah, Orange Cassidy was at another promotion. I think it was in California. Am I right,
okay,
Brad?
so this is why they did the whole BTE thing with him.
Because he's still working indies. Okay. So I know he just dropped the belt recently. But I think there was like a couple more. I'm not sure if like when completely he's done with the indies.
Yeah, that's right.
But I know he dropped the title.
That's the one thing. It's okay because he's officially all elite. So we know as soon as he's done the indies, he'll be with AEW forever. So, yeah, this was a very good opening contest. During we had a picture-in-picture break. So I didn't get to watch my feed. I don't know if TSN does the picture-in-picture. But when I go and rewatch it, I get the TNT feed, so I get to see the picture-in-picture. Right. So during the picture-in-picture, I'm going to let Tiff go on about this. A tag team by the two names of John Silver and Alex Reynolds make their way out to the ring. Beaver Boys is their tag team name. Beaver Boys.
So it's obviously, like, I marked out a little bit when this was going on with them. So, but they are from NYWC, Northeast. I mean, they're East Coast pretty much. So I've seen them numerous times. I'm a huge fan of John Silver. He's absolutely amazing. So
the Beavers.
I really love this.
That's very Canadian. Are they Canadian? That's a Canadian tag team name.
I mean, you know, it was a jobber match, but I mean, I love seeing, again, because of the fact that I've been following all these indies lately, it's just so nice to see like their friends coming into AEW. So, but yeah, so
That's like the most Canadian tag team name ever, the Beavers. Just saying.
Yeah, but
so they are making their entrance out during the picture-in-picture. Beforehand, LAX they showed footage of them making their way throughout, coming out of the dressing room. They had their Inner Circle shirts mixed in with their LAX gear. I shouldn't call them LAX anymore. I'm sorry.
Proud and powerful.
I know them as LAX though. It's what's hard. It's like when a Darby guy comes over and you have to start calling him by his new name, and it's gonna be tough. So Proud and Powerful were making their way out during the picture-in-picture as well. And then we finally come back from commercial break, and they make their entrance. I like their entrance song. It really says it says their tag team name in it. I think it fits them. It fits the LAX style. So I thought it was cool. These guys are just. This was basically like a showcase, right? They want to get the people and the newer fans in AEW and the fans that don't know about LAX. They want to kind of introduce them to this tag team, which Jericho's the only thing that to the people who don't know who these two are. All you can go by right now is what Jericho said, right? You have there's nothing else to back that up. So you kind of want to see what they're all about. So this was used for. So they grabbed a couple of your Northeastern guys. I'm sure through the Young Bucks and Private Party, they had some sort of, pull there to get on TV, right? I'm assuming.
Of course.
So
yeah.
It's basically a showcase for those AEW fans. Eventually they hit their move where they call it the Street Sweeper for the win. Definitely Pride and Powerful looked powerful in this case.
So you're not the only one. Even Cuba Girl said in chat, I'm still gonna call them LAX. I refuse to call them Pride and Powerful.
Proud and Powerful just seems so weird. I hope that this is just a for now thing until they can somehow buy the rights to that name, and then eventually I'd see them maybe if they went and signed another LAX member, like a former old member, right. And then they came in and they formed this big team and called it LAX again. So I think for now it'll do. But again, I'm with Cupid Girl there. I'm going to be calling them LAX accidentally all the time.
There's too many names. I can stop following the indie scene.
But Jericho comes up on the screen after the match. He's basically telling everyone, see, I told you how good they were, these two. And he sends an open challenge to the Young Bucks on November 9th. Pride and Powerful versus the Young Bucks in a tag team match. So I'm sure the Young Bucks are going to be accepting this challenge. So it looks like Tiff, we're going to be able to see live in Baltimore, Young Bucks versus Proud and Powerful, a.k.a. LAX.
I love it. I'm more excited.
Mm-hmm. Thought that was cool. So then we got a promo video for Cody preparing for his match with Jericho. This is really cool. There's kind of like half emotional, half hype kind of a video like you saw in the beginning. Like Brandy was going over like the schedule and Cody was just not focusing on anything, just mainly focused on Jericho. We got words throughout the promo from Brandy, DDP, Michelle Runnels, which is Cody's mom, MJF, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and then it eventually transitioned into him preparing and what he does to prepare for this match. So I thought it was good. Whoever the video package team, and I tweeted this, they're so good in AEW. So yeah. And we haven't even got to the pay-per-view yet, so I can only imagine what the final thing is going to be. But just right now, seeing the video packages that they've been doing it's so good. They get you hyped. They're so good.
Brad said in the chat that not all the promos are the same. He goes, last week was in the ring and this week was on the big screen. He goes that it actually means something. And he's right. He's absolutely right. It brings meaning. It gets me hyped. Mm-hmm. It's not forced. And I guess that's the nice thing about it, also not being scripted as well.
And watching this promo too, man, it's like they went deep into it. And I'm like, oh, God, maybe Cody's going to win.
But that's what it should do. Mm-hmm. It should make you excited and make you start thinking,
I've seen a lot of people say that the pay-per-view is gonna be where MJF turns on Cody finally. I'm like, not yet, guys. This is a big payoff. That's a big payoff storyline. That's gonna be because they know how much hype they have right now. I'm sure they're looking at some sort of football stadium type pay-per-view. Maybe not as big as the NFL. Maybe like a college football stadium. some sort of football stadium. I know they can get an easy pull at the Jaguars one. Maybe they're still looking at that. But I know they're looking at a Jaguar-type stadium for a big pay-per-view. And I'm thinking next year, once this gets off the ground, we get some more popularity, that the ultimate payoff match is going to be at that pay-per-view. So it's going to happen in between a pay-per-view and the big payoff and the big pay-per-view. So it's going to be in between there, maybe on an episode of Dynamite. But that's when we're going to get the change, and then the one-on-one match between MJF and Cody is going to happen at that big pay-per-view. So it's too early for that.
It's a slow build.
Yeah.
I love it that they're like teasing it and we're all expecting it. But you're right. It's going to be a slow build, and it's going to be a beautiful payoff. Maybe like at All Out. I mean, that might be too long. Maybe Vegas, if they do Vegas again, like Double or Nothing.
I don't know what they would call their big pay-per-view.
Well, they're definitely doing All Out again. That they've already said. So they're gonna go back Chicago every
all
year.
Two?
For All Out.
Or All Up?
No, I think it's gonna
all
stay
down.
Oh God.
All right.
Anyway.
All right. There you go. That's a good one.
All right. So.
Yeah. So Les Champions versus Cody Rhodes at Baltimore. So good hype promo video.
Are you hyped?
I am hyped a little bit. I'm excited. I mean, it got after watching, like, oh man, it got me. It to me, it's getting my prediction wheel turning. I'm like, oh, who's gonna win this match? And then now I'm like, I'm on the Cody side right now. I'm like, damn, like it just makes it look like Cody right now. We had a champion. Speaking of championships, we had a championship match on Dynamite this week, and we had Riho, as the normal way would say it, but on here, I guess we call her Riho, versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, for the AEW Women's Championship. I was very excited for this one. I think the fans were, I'd say, a 60-40 for Riho. Sorry, I don't know. I love the Riho's fun to say. So
I know, right? Like.
Well, I'll say Riho out of respect for people that are like, it's Riho.
If you just tuned in and if you're new to our podcast, it's just an inside joke.
Yeah. So Riho, 60-40 split for, I'd say, the crowd. It was pretty split. A weird match to start, though. Like, the start of the match was weird. Didn't look like there was a lot of good communication going on between the two. It looked like a lot of sloppiness to me. Right. Like, it looked off. Like it looked like they were trying to do stuff and they were just kind of like falling over each other. And I'm like, oh, the communication here is terrible. What's going on? But they picked it up. They picked up the slack a little bit. And it got, and you could even tell with the crowd in the beginning, like they knew, like, this is sloppy. What's going on right now? But they turned things around near the end of the match. There were some good near falls back and forth. Eventually, Britt hit her finisher, which is
the Novocaine.
The Novocaine, and she tries to reach in with that lockjaw submission. And Riho countered, literally flipped her into a pin. And then that's how she won the match. I'm like, oh, that was good. That was good. That was a good way to end the match. It was a very good way because it shocked Britt Baker as she was trying to hit her submission move. Like, that was a perfect way to do it. And Riho, man, she's like 6-1 now or something like that. Like, they're really building her and have a lot behind her. And I was like, okay. So Riho, still your AEW Women's Championship. I thought Britt Baker looked really good in this match. Didn't make her look weak at all. I thought for sure, we said on the preview show that we thought for sure B. Priestley might make some sort of appearance in this match. Maybe she had some prior commitments. No, but it was a clean match, and Riho won clean. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think I'm pretty sure she was in Japan because Stardom got bought out by New Japan. So, and she's a champ at Stardom.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna do something next week because they teased that's like a homecoming match for Britt next week. So there's probably gonna be something going on there.
But it's good we're not getting all this interference as well. Like we already had earlier with Lucha Brothers and SCU. So if we're gonna are we gonna continue to see people interfering? I don't want to see too much of interfering. So actually,
I like this match. It was good. Like they definitely picked it up. I love the ending more in the beginning. The beginning was a little sloppy, like I said, but they did pick it up. I don't know if there's a communication with language barrier. Maybe I don't know. To me, from what the promos they were doing with Riho, I don't know if she knows a lot of English, so maybe there was some miscommunication there.
Yeah, that's got to be kind of hard too to work in the ring. I mean, like that you would know, but even still, like if you really into wrestling, you can see it. That you see when they're telling about the spot and stuff. So it's got to be a little bit of that language barrier too.
So decent match. Good for Rihu to retain, and Britt to not look weak and look pretty good in this match. And I know they have they said on commentators a lot of stock into Britt Baker, so they are really hyped behind her. So I think eventually she will win that championship. So we'll see when that happens. Moved on to Jurassic Express versus the Lucha Bros. They did explain that Luchasaurus did suffer a non-contact thigh injury, and that Marco Stunt would be subbing in. But from what I'm reading, it's not looking good for Luchasaurus right now, and that thigh injury is going to be keeping him out long term. So that is not good for the Jungle Express.
There was a image with Jungle Boy on top, like trying to help him.
Mm-hmm.
What machines they use, I guess, like for healing and stuff.
Yeah.
But that sucks.
Yeah.
Cause he's so over.
I know.
Ugh.
He's just gonna be just as over when he comes back finally, though. When he finally comes back from injury and it's a surprise and people are like, ah.
Okay, he did tear his hamstring, so
that sucks. So, so it was Marco Stunt subbing in. So when I seen that, I'm like, okay, so it's exactly what I said in the pre-show. Lucha Bros are probably gonna win this match now. They came out in their Double or Nothing gear. I love that like Aztec looking ring gear. Love that. They still got a good reception regardless of what happened in the SCU thing. They still got a really good reception. This just shows you how good they are and how respected they are. They'll get a good reaction no matter what. So,
right.
And I said on the show, and I'll take back what I said on the show, Tiff, that I thought this match would be weird with Marco Stunt being in there and that it would take a lot of the Lucha Bros, but they did such a good job. I'm giving props to both. I'm giving a little bit of the edge to the Lucha Bros because I know how good they are, and we got again another first-hand account of how good of a tag team the Lucha Brothers are, and they are so good. They're so innovative. I love all the moves that they do. You can't just have a boring tag team match with like generic moves. So like you can't get into something like that. If you want something like that, I mean, no fan. I'm not criticizing them. I'm just saying if you want that type of wrestling, there is that type of wrestling for you guys out there, and I'm not criticizing them. Can't stress this enough. It's NWA. That stuff's for you. You know what I mean? They have that style of wrestling for you to just watch some generic, old school style, kind of just, wrestling type of stuff match, and that's an NWA. I'm not criticizing them. Don't jump down my throat, people.
I can't say anything because I haven't watched the episode.
I watched a couple of matches and I'm like, okay, I know what it's about now. Yeah. So
I watched the pay-per-view a couple of months ago. But
that's why I love Lucha Brothers. They're so exciting. They're innovative. They bring a lot of excitement to their matches. Same with the Young Bucks. That's why Jim Cornette hates them. That's why Jim Cornette owns NWA. So, anywho.
But I'm glad that you take back.
I do take back what I said.
Marco and Jungle Boy, like I said, I've seen them a lot in ICW here in New York. I mean, I'm forever going to put over ICW here. I love them. Jungle Boy's amazing. And Marco, he's just so funny. See, being small.
He's good.
Doesn't mean
no,
nothing.
he was good. They definitely in the spots where they needed Lucha Brothers to do something, because I know it's tough working with someone small and they're like 10 times bigger than he is. They did a good job. Like I said, I'm giving a little bit of an edge to the Lucha Brothers. They're so good. This match was really good. I love this match. It was a good start. All four look really good. During the picture-in-picture commercial break we had, Lucha Brothers were all over the Jungle Express. Insane ending to the match. There's a lot of very close calls. There was even a moment where Phoenix, this was weird. In the crowd, I could see the crowd's confusion with this. So there's a moment where Phoenix tagged Penta into the match, and he was not on the other side of the ropes. He was just in the corner like this, and then they tagged each other, and the ref's like, tag, that's a tag. And people in the crowd going, wait, does he have to be on the other side? Like, what's going on here? So I thought it was very confusing. I wasn't sure if that was allowed, but anyways.
Oh, Pentagon swinging Marco.
Oh my God, by his hair? Oh, jeez. Anyways, they hit their tag team finisher, the package pile driver, with the foot stomp. Phoenix jumped to the outside to take out Jungle Boy, and Pentagon goes for the pin. The Lucha Bros win and move on to face Private Party next week.
Take my money.
Wow.
Take it. I'm telling you. I'm still going with this. I don't care. SCU.
So we don't have to wait. We don't have to wait long, folks. Next week we're already getting the tag team match.
The news to you guys. How long I've been preaching this for weeks. So. Anyway,
So if we look at it now, the two semifinals, we have the we have SCU in the Dark Order, and then we have Private Party, Lucha Brothers. It kind of seems like they're going to be going the Private Party, Dark Order final.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
And I think our boys might do it. It's gonna be so tough to predict that final though. It just screams like I know they want to put a lot of stock in the Dark Order and to be this like, oh man, but then they could be the ones that finally overtake the Dark Order and it'd be a good story. Oh man, I know it's gonna be Private Party, Dark Order final.
What?
Yeah. Unless they swerve us completely and it's SCU and Lucha Brothers, and that would be, there's a story behind those two as well, right? So
yeah, you could. This is the great thing. We just don't know. We could go any way, and overall, I'd be happy whoever takes the belts because the matches alone. So
let us know in the chat, who do you guys got in the 2 semifinal matches? You have Private Party, Lucha Brothers, and Dark Order SCU. Who is your tag team final? I want to know you guys now in the live chat. I want to know down in the comments after you're watching this back. If you're taking us on the go right now, let us know what's going on. What are you picking for the finals of the AEW Tag Team Tournament? You can tweet it at the podcast as well at All Elite Pod. So I'm excited, and I love tag team wrestling. Love tag team wrestling in AEW, and we'll move on to another exciting tag team match that happened this week. And oh my god, what we got this week with this match: Moxley and Pac versus Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. Man, this was a heated matchup. Obviously, two feuds clashing together in a tag team match. They were even going at each other before the match even got started. They were just attacking each other, like both feuds just going after each other, like right before the match even started. Like there was so much heat in this match, and as soon as the bell rang, we finally got stuff under control. Both Pac and or not under control yet, but it was both Pac and Hangman and Moxley Kenny kind of went at each other. Eventually, when they got back into the ring, it was a very good start. This is a very good start to the match. I mean, you have such talent as like a Kenny Omega, a Hangman, a Pac, and a Moxley in there. You're gonna have a really good tag team match between these guys. And I was kind of worried about the whole Pac and Moxley, how they were going to get together. There were spots where they were kind of like looking at each other, like, like back off, I got this. So I was interested to see how that was going to go. We got something later with those two. During the picture-in-picture, it was all Pac and Moxley. They were dominating Omega and Hangman. As for the rest of the match, my God, it just got better and better. It was like a roller coaster. It literally just got better and better and better and better. But it's a roller coaster that never came back down. It was just one that just kept going up. It was so good. Again, I'm not sure how I feel about them giving away Moxley and Omega a little bit early, but like I said earlier, if this is what we got now, which I loved, the pay-per-view is going to be unreal. The pay-per-view payoff is going to be an insane match. So we're going to get what we got this week plus.
Oof, we get to be there.
And we're going to be there live in Baltimore, of all places.
Oh, I like how they were doing happy birthday chants for Kenny.
Yes, when Kenny came out, as soon as his music stopped, they were chanting. He got a big reaction. I think it was because of his birthday, too. But he got a big ovation in Philly, which he should. Best wrestler in the world. Mox and Omega eventually bring in the barbed wire items that they had. They had under the ring, so they had the barbed wire bat and the barbed wire broomstick. Pac comes in. This is a really weird spot here. So the referee was paying attention, and Mox hit Omega in the stomach with the baseball bat, like the knob of it. Isn't that a DQ?
I would think so, yeah.
And the referee just kind of like, he's seen, but then he like transitioned to like looking away, kind of. I don't know if that he wasn't supposed to be looking at that very moment. I don't know what was going on, but I know the crowd even looked confused. A little bit of a sloppiness there from such a good match. But then Pac got in the ring and is like pushing Mox. What are you doing? Use your head. You're going to get us disqualified. And then he took the bat, and this is where he cut his finger. He took the barbed wire bat and he threw it to the outside. Like he threw both items out. And he cut his finger in the process because he threw it so hard and he was so in character, and he cut his finger. And then Mox just like, meh. Then he gives him the double bird, and then gives him the paradigm shift, and then leaves.
That was great.
Just walks out, and the crowd loved it.
I didn't expect. I know I put a tweet out the other day. Like I didn't expect. I mean, it makes sense, but I don't know. For some reason, I didn't see that coming. That Mox just gonna walk out. That he just doesn't care about the wins and the losses. Like, well, whatever.
I mean, it counts towards his tag team record, but I don't think he gives a crap about his tag team record. Clearly, he doesn't. So,
right.
I think he's maybe all about his singles record, because it shows on screen when they come out their tag team and singles record and their overall record. which is cool. So he just left, and then he left Pac basically out to dry. Moxley and Hangman took advantage of that, hit their signature moves, and that was it for Pac. Rest in peace, Hangman.
Yeah, the V trigger. Yeah, that was great.
Yep, Hangman and Pac win, or Hangman and Omega win over Pac and Moxley.
That was great. It was a good match.
Very good match. Very good match.
I was hyped. Like, I had to put down my notes because I was just so focused into this match. Oh,
it was so good. It was good. It was good. It was definitely a match I could rewatch. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So during between matches now, they basically were previewing next week. Besides the tag team tournament, which is the 2 semifinal matches next week, they also have Britt Baker's homecoming match next week. So that's 3. They had the Young Bucks that are going to be in tag team action next week, which is 4. And then they announced Moxley versus Pac 1-on-1 next week, which is 5. So 5 huge matches for next week.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So Moxley's going to take Pac 1-on-1, man.
Better. Like, it's like Christmas. Thank you. It's so exciting.
So we had those, and on the big thing with Britt Baker and her returning to that university where she actually got her DMD, like she got her degree there. So there's a lot of significance there, and she remembers going and watching events in that arena, and now she's going to be there, doing her craft in that arena. So it's really cool. I'm sure they're going to do a big promo video with that next week. So we'll see what happens. Excuse me. So we went to the main event.
Oof.
Chris Jericho, Le Champion, AEW World Champion versus Darby Allin in a Philadelphia street fight.
Do you love Darby Allin even more?
So he was good, but he came out with his skateboard from last week that said Darby Allin AEW Champ. And then he had a little bit of more innovative makeup this week. Instead of just half his face, he went half his body, and he wrote in like insane psycho writing "champ" all over himself. And this kind of inspired Jericho to bring back the Painmaker gimmick. So Jericho came out in Painmaker face paint that he made famous in New Japan. So he was ready to go as well. So this was an exciting match. So there's a lot of hype for this match. Crowd was very hot during the intros. There's a couple of parts of the match where I think they may have forgotten what a street fight is, though. Even the crowd was chanting, like, it's a street fight, because there were submission moves being done, and then the referee was counting the rope break. And I'm like, no, it's a street fight. You don't have to do that. You can't DQ in a street fight. So they did it a couple times, and the crowd was very, very confused. And I was confused, too. I'm like, wait a minute. Why are you counting? You can't street fight. You can't do that. So even the crowd was yelling, it's a street fight. So I'm sure people backstage pick that up, and then they'll fix it, guys. It's not like WWE here, and they're just gonna keep rolling with it and make you feel stupid. They'll fix it. I was just really weirded out by that. Eventually, Jericho gets mad from the rope breaks, though, and he ends up taping Darby's hands together with duct tape or the ring tape, and he ties them really tight. But Darby, though, being innovative as he is able to turn that around, and what he did to Jericho with his hands taped is insane. All these moves he was able to do was from suicide dives to moonsaults off the rope. He took advantage of this and literally turned it on Jericho.
But this is how he is. Again, like, I know you guys who don't know Darby Allin, he has done this. I felt watching this match, if you guys seen it at Northeast Wrestling, him and Moxley didn't even know, and Moxley put him over, and Moxley was like, I don't even know who this kid is, and his hands were tied, and he was doing these moves. I've seen this in the indie scene. So
for us, Tiff, that haven't, we have to enjoy it here, okay?
I'm saying that if you don't know him from the indie scenes, this is his character, and this is his specialties that he does in the ring. So I'm just saying that. So relax.
I don't know. It kind of sounds like you're going.
I'm gonna pop you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
pop you. Oh, you bring some pap for me? All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
It's a soda. Okay.
Pap.
I'm gonna pop you one.
Oh, you're gonna bring me another pop? Okay, thank you. Just bring me a 2 for a case of pap.
All right, I got
Appreciate
you.
It. Thank you. Anywho, Rihu. this match, awesome. Again, what Darby did with his hand tape, amazing. He eventually was going for a moonsault, but Jake Hager comes out, being a street fight. It's allowed. He pushes Darby off. Jericho is able to lock in the Lion Tamer, and Darby has no choice but to give up at that point. And that's it. So Jericho is able to retain as he should and retain the AEW World Championship. I was wondering how this was going to go down. I thought it was pretty good. It was a good match. It made Darby look really good. I think we got an even good enough showcase. I mean, even Jericho put him over on social media.
He's over.
Yeah, and Jericho put him over on social media, which was really cool. I thought it was awesome. He's like, I think he said something along the lines was like, Darby, like you put up a good match, man, but I am still the champion, le champion, something like that. But the rest of the inner circle comes out with a little bit of bubbly. So they come out with some champagne. They get in the ring and they celebrate, and that's how we get off the air. Them popping the bubbly all over the ring and sending the crowd home happy. And then the crowd got a little bit of more with AEW Dark, which we'll have to see next week on Tuesday. I'm excited for that. So, yeah, pumped. Yeah. It was a good episode. Really good episode.
So excited. Can't wait for next week. Let's go. Yeah, I know like we don't really have any news, but I just want to let you guys know if you guys want to buy like any AEW stuff, that Pro Wrestling Tees is starting, I think, within an hour, to have 20% off everything. So that's a good way to get your merch.
Oh, I'm buying something today. Don't worry, it's payday for me today as well, so I'm buying something.
So I just wanted to let you know, I do need freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. Oh my god! So,
yeah, I'm looking through the news now. There's not really much, just little tidbits I can use next week for around the AEW world. But next week, we'll might as well talk about it now. I have we have an interesting episode next week. So next week, not sure when it's gonna be, folks. You have to look out for it. But there won't be a preview show because me and Tiff are having our 50th anniversary episode. Woo! So that because we celebrate anniversaries every episode. This is the 49th anniversary. So. Anyways, next week is going to be an official Q&A episode. So we're celebrating 50 episodes. Not only that, we are celebrating in a way to let you guys know, or get you guys out there to get to know us a little bit more. So I'll be sending out a tweet sometime this weekend on the All Elite Podcast, and I'll be pinning it on the Twitter wall for All Elite Podcast. And so follow us on Twitter at All Elite Pod, and make sure you follow myself at Real Kyle Masters right down there, and right below Tiff at Loves to Dream 82. And we'll be sending out a tweet for you guys to post under. It'll be like a little bit of a thread. And post any questions that you guys want to ask us to get to know us a little bit more. Maybe about how we got into wrestling, where do we start in wrestling, where do we start podcasting. Any questions you want to know about us or about our podcast, you tweet us the questions in there. In the next episode, we'll read them all out on the air. And we're going to have a little bit of fun. There'll be a little bit of fun in that episode. Maybe there'll be a little bit of bubbly. Maybe.
I won't buy a small bottle again that it gives that sad little.
Yeah. Mine freaking went, wow.
Yeah, your face. It was like opening Champagne 101 with Kyle. It was great. So that was.
So we're going to have a lot of fun with the next episode, and then we'll obviously do our review show next week as well. But the pre-show will be taking a hiatus next week for our 50th anniversary episode of the All Elite Podcast.
You didn't show our pick that our friend. This is what I was
getting to. This is the main event of this episode.
Okay, the main event, guys.
So, guys, we have a friend of the podcast who decided to make some art for us today. It is inspired by me and Tiff, but mostly me throwing Tiff under the bus every time there's a chance to throw her under the bus. Apparently, I don't know what they're talking about, but I think this is false information. Mm-hmm. I think this is wrong, but hey, I love the artwork, so I'm going with it. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we give you the official poster of Kyle Masters throwing Tiff under the bus. Bam!
JPQ is a little beast, okay?
So we have me driving the bus there and, popping out my head out of the bus like Ace Ventura. And I know this is pictures from. This is when we met Big Fat Pharaoh, and this is where this picture is from. But anyways, and you got the MJF kids in the back, I guess. I was hoping for the list of husbands, but MJF kids in the back. the AEP logo on the side of the bus. But then look behind there. What's that? Who's that?
You're driving because you're always driving the damn bus.
Damn right, I'm driving the bus. I'm the bus driver.
Hashtag Kyle. He's the bus driver.
Yeah. So there you go.
That
Official poster for me. Throwing Tiff under the bus every time.
Every chance he gets, he throws me under the bus, guys. So if you watch our Under the Ropes, then you know like a lot more.
You guys should watch it. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
This is the reason why the list of husbands is so over, because Kyle threw me under the bus to Mr. Anthony Gangone. So
I mean, I was just trying to get the facts straight, you know. I was hoping he would know, so he's not coming into this blind. And I mean, he kind of brought it up, didn't he not?
No, you brought it up because
that's right.
you brought it up. He didn't know because he didn't even know me. So you brought it up, and I think the best part was his facial expression, because he didn't know where you were going either. So, and then he played along too. So yeah, that was the start of throwing Tiffany under the bus. Never mind the fact of
I would say it was a compliment, but I guess I threw you under the bus.
You threw me under the bus because I was embarrassed the entire episode. But we'll talk about this on our 50th episode.
Maybe we'll have some clips for you guys. Yeah, we'll definitely get some clips going. Other than that, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. A little bit of a short episode, but just wanted to review and recap Dynamite this week. Awesome week this week. Next week being in Pittsburgh. And next week's podcast schedule will feature our 50th anniversary special, and then we'll feature our 51st episode as well, which is our review of Dynamite next week. I'm excited. 5 awesome matches announced so far, with more exciting things to come with AEW. We're building towards AEW Full Gear in Baltimore, where myself and Tiff are going to be there live. Cannot wait for that. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. We're getting so close to it. So
what are we, like 2 weeks away?
3 weeks? Like something like that. So other than that, folks, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the All Elite Podcast, your AEW Dynamite review and recap episode right here on the No Holds Barred Network, your source for all wrestling podcast content and more. I'm your host of this episode and all the episodes of the All Elite Podcast, your CEO of the network, the self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters, and I'm always joined by my co-host. She is the queen of the indies herself, the heartbreak chick, whatever you want to call her, EVP of Giggles. She's got a lot of names.
I got too many names. What do they call me? Queen gave me another name the other day.
Oh, no. Well, we're not going to do it now because I don't want to make this list bigger. Anyways, the list of names here. Tiffany, that's her. That's my co-host right there. Want to give a special shout out at the end of this episode too. We forgot to do it in the beginning to our boys, These Wolves, with their song "Dead to Me," the official theme song of the All Elite Podcast. Thank you very much for letting us use that theme song each and every single week here on the All Elite Podcast. And they actually just sent us a design this week. They're going to be featured on our T-shirt store, which is coming soon as well, folks. I'm going to be finishing it up this weekend. So it's going to be an exciting store coming to you guys soon as Monday, and they decided to send us a design, which is going to be awesome. It's going to be a really cool looking T-shirt. You guys are probably going to want to get it, but it'll be on our store as well. So thank you to them each and every single week. That's going to wrap it up, guys. Hope to see you guys next week for our 50th anniversary special. Again, look out on Twitter for the tweet to send us your questions, and we'll see you next week for our 50th anniversary episode and the next review of AEW Dynamite. Catch you later.